Anders Iniesta. Do you know who he is, Seb?
Anders Iniesta.
Anders? You don't know Anders? You don't know Anders from Dickey Farm? Hello and welcome to Season 2 of Reminding You Why You Love Football, a Mundial podcast. We've had a couple of week break after a 50 episode first series. Some might say we just decided to call it a series because we wanted a break. Others that it was all part of Seb's big plan. For the last 2 weeks we've been fixing Seb's garage.
I wish.
The roof is fixed, but Seb still not fit for purpose.
It's been a hell of a job on it.
Oh dear, I really wish that was true.
Yeah, Seb's been talking about fixing his garage. It's the second longest running DIY saga in Mundial history. Second only to James Bird's curtain rails of 2018, which no one would really know about, but it got pretty dicey at times. And I think he was on the verge of being made single if these curtains hadn't gone up. But if this is the first time you've listened and you're choosing the beginning of Season 2 as your entry point, I would say, great, good to have you here, but also you may have come too late. I'm your host, Owen Blackhurst. And the day after this episode is released, on May the 10th, is Dennis Bergkamp's 55th birthday. Oh. And so joining me today, in the spirit of that, are James, goal against Newcastle, Bird.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I'll explain why in a minute. Seb, goal against Argentina, White.
Oh.
And Tommy, goal against Leicester, Stewart.
Ooh.
He doesn't remember it. All right,
I think I do.
And just so you know, so James, Newcastle, total fucking fluke, and you'll never stop banging on about it.
I thought that's where you might go.
Seb, big believer that it's the Falklands, not the Malvinas, so that's why you've scored against Argentina. And Tommy, I think you've got the techers to score that goal against Leicester, but I also think you were guessing. I found this goal yesterday, which I hadn't saw for a while, and I think this is the Dennis Bergkamp goal I am. This is in his Ajax days, the most prolific days of his career before his ill-fated spell at Inter Milan, and then obviously his great revival at Arsenal. Ball by Wim Jonk. Look at that touch.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think that's me.
Yeah.
Didn't expect a lob there.
Louis?
And I wanted to show this because of Louis van Gaal's trench coat. So let's watch that one-man time. What's the touch to take it away from the defender in midair here? Oh.
Fucking hell.
That is ridiculous, isn't it?
And you expect him to smash
Look
it
at
in.
LVG, look at the coat.
And I think that's me, Seb. Impudence, arrogance, a little bit of flair.
I can't disagree. I think you've got all four of them pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
Wim Jonk, look at this for a pass, though. Look at that. He knows he's there. Lovely. So.
Impudence, bit of flair, and best in the early 90s.
Mid to late.
Mid
to late, yeah.
Yeah, early I was a mosher with an undercut.
That was your Inter Milan time.
Never seen pictures of this.
When's your Reading Festival era? Like that picture?
They went back and forth. Year 1, 95.
Yeah.
Biker jacket, long hair, undercut, scowl. Looked a bit like Kate Moss.
That picture of it, yeah.
Fit.
No, that was the second year.
Sorry.
Moss.
That was the second year.
He did, to be fair.
I only say that because someone put it on an Instagram, a Facebook post once. All right, Kate Moss.
That's cracking.
The lad who put that comment on there, actually, I don't talk to him anymore because he tried to glass me in Dubai after drinking half one of Jameson's. Yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
right.
moving on.
That'll do it.
Fear in the Gulf.
I wanted to start a quick change of pace before we get into the episode. Now, I'm going to give you a bit of a trigger warning because we had an email in from a listener, Sadler Sam. So if anyone is dealing with anything at the moment, I just thought I'd just let you know there's some themes in here that might upset you, but it's anyway. About a month ago, I received an email that had come through our website from from Kitty, who works at our fulfillment team, and said it wasn't. I've been asked to forward this on to you, and I read it at the time and circulated it around the team, and I didn't necessarily have the words to reply at the time. And this week, I was thinking about what we should do for the pod, and I went back to Sam and I said, look, sorry I didn't get back to you. We don't need to delve into that, but I'd love to share it on the podcast. And he said, I'd love you to do it. It would be great. It would be a great way to, well, I'll get through the thing. So this is from Sadler Sam, and He firstly apologised that it's a little long, but I hope you see it needs the full story. No need to apologise. Many moons ago, when Mundial launched, my best friend Jamie got me a subscription for my birthday. It was an excellent birthday present and one that has brought me real joy over the years, through the magazines, the podcasts, and very recently a really poignant moment which I'd like to tell you about. Jamie and I were brothers in everything but blood. We were soulmates, kindred spirits, the lot. He was born up in Liverpool and supported Everton, and me, a West Midlands lad, a Walsall fan. He moved to my area when he was young, and from the age of 11, we were attached at the hip. We grew up together, went to our first gigs and festivals together. We flew to our first World Cups and Euros together. Above all else, we loved each other dearly and supported each other through our darkest moments and celebrated our happiest times. I was best man at his wedding, and he would have been at mine. From the way I've written the above, you've probably guessed that Jamie isn't with us anymore. On July the 9th, 2022, he suffered a cardiac arrest totally out of the blue. He'd only sent me a song on Spotify that morning, and we discussed meeting up later that day. By lunchtime, he was rushed to King's College Hospital in South East London, and 2 days later, we took the horrendous decision to switch the machines off and say goodbye. He was 37. Last year, my girlfriend and I moved south to start a new life by the sea in Brighton. We love it here, but the move was a little bit bittersweet, as it would have actually brought us closer to Jamie and his wife, as they'd spent the last 10 years in Beckenham, which was part of our thinking when we originally started to look in Brighton. During the move, I had to make some cuts to what I could take to our new pad for space and practicality. I, foolishly I will admit, decided now was the time to move on my first few editions of Mundial and give them to a charity shop. Hopefully to win the magazine a few more fans in my old home of High Wycombe. Each time I'd get the latest copy through, now that I'm a subscriber again, I'd regret getting rid of the old ones. Jamie's incredible wife, Katie, struggled hugely with losing Jamie, so suddenly and so totally unexpectedly. After 18 months of darkness, she decided it was time to move to Sydney in Australia to start a new life, and we couldn't be happier for her. When I popped over a couple of weeks ago to see her, she'd put together a box of some of Jamie's favourite things that she wanted me to have. Some books, a couple of games consoles, and his basketball that we used to shoot around while we chewed the fat and put the world to rights. After unpacking the box, however, the most amazing thing was still to be seen. At the bottom of the box were the same copies of Mundial magazine that I'd given away, and they'd made their way back to me via Jamie. Safe to say, I'll be keeping these very close. Thanks for everything you do, guys. You brighten up my week with your podcast, and it genuinely is my favourite thing to listen to. One final thing to add. Your latest edition fell through the door on the 18th of March, on what would have been Jamie's 39th birthday.
Oh, fucking hell.
I miss him more than I could ever describe over an email. And thanks for reading. I'm writing this on the day Katie boards that flight to Australia. Thank you, Sadler Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
Beautiful. A beautiful story from something so tragic. And I think that's one of the things one of the things I'm most proud of, that we get stuff like that.
Yeah, I am as well. And I said that to him in reply, that it's very easy to say you don't get that with world soccer or whatever else and be sort of pithy about it, but you don't. So yeah, it's long to being able to I suppose help people through things like that in any small way, and just thanks again for sharing it. And please, it's not like often the reviews we get are people sharing personal stories, and that's what we want.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
We know the podcast's good.
Yeah,
I like we only want reviews so more people can listen to it, but it's the personal stories we get that make a difference. So on we go. A somber start to season 2.
no, it's really brave of him.
Yeah, it just.
That was the noise James made when he has to try and deal with emotions. We are an award-winning podcast, a 4.9 on Apple, a 5-star on Spotify, and this is Reminding You Why I Love Football, a part of the Acast Creator Network. Hello, listeners. Normally, Adventures in Clubland would be here. It's coming in a bit. We've got a big few months coming up. And we got some feedback in the Discord where maybe the most loyal, most daft
Certainly.
people with time on their hands, I don't know. But that's where we go directly. That's where we go directly for feedback. And Seb's been sort of asking questions here, there and everywhere. And it turns out a lot of what you like listening to is just us talking shit. So we're going to try and add a bit more of that in. Without going totally freestyle every week, because I just think it's a recipe for the disaster. Because if more than one of us turns up in a bad mood, there's going to be a brawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which people might enjoy, but it wouldn't be best for
In
our,
4K,
for our personal uses.
No, it wouldn't be good for us. So the great thing about football,
Oh God, they're at it again.
Third week in a row.
oh Jesus, Birdo's got another broken cheekbone.
Looks good though.
He's wearing one of those masks.
He looks more like John Merrick than ever.
Looks a bit like Kate Moss.
They're doing tables, ladders, and chairs this week. Brilliant.
Anyway. So I've been thinking about this. Seb or Tommy or both has dutifully stuck a load of football anniversaries and birthdays and non-football anniversaries and things in the script. So we've got a few highlighted, which I'm going to talk about, but also I'm going to freestyle it this week coming up, as well as being John Gregory's birthday and Anders Iniesta. Don't know who he is, Seb, but
Anders Iniesta.
Anders, you don't know Anders. You don't know Anders from Dickey Farm. You should see him weave that tractor on ploughing matches.
Really?
Spaces that don't exist. You don't know Anders? Respecter of the turf.
Oh, he's a big respecter of the turf, isn't he? Keep the ball on the turf.
3-time winner of the John Deere Tractor Award.
The first thing I would like to talk about is, back in the late 80s, Elton John became Watford chairman this week in history. Now, I think it is one of my favourite football stories. Everything we know about how Graham Taylor basically saved Elton John from alcoholism and, cocaine abuse. And that just the simple fact that Elton, who's a bit of a fucking weirdo,
yeah.
Right, and that's all right. We're all weirdos. We know a lot of weirdos. But playing piano in Pinner to going on to being Rocket Man to going on to being spending £1 million a month on flowers or whatever it was to becoming sort of like royalty to Mad Glasses to Glastonbury and all of that. Duets with Eminem and Axl Rose and all the shit he's done over the years.
Yeah.
Dua Lipa,
yeah. I mean, Ghetto Gospel was a bad song, wasn't it?
Yeah. With Tupac.
Yeah.
Oh.
Those who wish
to
follow me.
Ghetto Gospel. Do you remember his I'm Still Standing during the pandemic? It's like fucking Vic Reeves, wasn't it?
It was like someone was trying to impression.
But you know what? If you're Elton John,
oh yeah,
and you've written the collection of songs he has, you can probably do what you want.
Fuck yeah.
Anyway,
with you.
So Elton John, Watford chairman, absolutely fantastic stories. Looks great. There's chats of him joining in on tours and holding impromptu parties for the players, and them just being blown away by like fucking rock royalty being there. But Seb, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah.
If you could have any musician, past or present, as Yeovil chairman, who would it be?
Well, this might be quite a boring answer.
Oh no.
But I want my chairman to be sound. Solid, someone you can go for a pint with, but also isn't going to cause too much mischief amongst the backroom staff or amongst it. So I'm going to go.
Oh God.
It's true. I mean,
He's been thinking about this all week.
I have. I'm going to say Guy Garvey from Elbow. Someone I could have a pint with post-match.
It's a manic depressive, Seb. Oh, there you go. Game recognised game.
No, someone you could have a couple of pints with, but who would keep a steady ship, keep it going, not be too.
And when he was re-signing players, he'd be going, "Come back to what you know."
That's Embrace.
I know. It's a joke.
He has a brilliant.
Stop getting indie wrong.
Sorry. I just think he's. I know he's got, and his lyrics reflect that there's ups and downs, but
He's a pintman.
He's a great pint man, and I think he's just a sensible soul of the earth, just a solid bloke. I want that as my football chairman.
Would he be able to take you to the heights? Do you think he'd need to pass it on as you got further up the leagues, or do you think he's got enough to stick around?
No, I think he's got the right people around him. Me, for example, I'm his vice chairman.
Oh, I see. And
he wants to be friends with Guy Garvey. That's what this is.
And final question for you: what if he wants a piano in the boardroom?
Pianos are fine in the boardroom.
Okay.
I had a piss next to him in the Britain's Production.
Yeah, I just think he's stand up.
And a chat.
He has a great Radio 6 show. His Radio 6 show is fantastic.
Yeah.
It is very
Every
good.
time.
What are the good ones?
He's got a good broadcasting voice as well. He's very calming.
Lovely man.
This is what I mean, and when the shit's gone down.
Like me. Yeah. Tommy, same question to you. For Manchester United.
I'm going to say a Manchester United fan who is a singer and guitar player of a Manchester band. Me. You twat.
Very good.
Do you think you could because being the chairman of a football club would be.
No, I
very
think
hard.
I'd start drinking again. I think I'd be
I was going to
fucking
say,
off.
you'd be shit.
Yeah, I would be shit.
James.
But just for the glory.
Yeah.
I like that. Fair play. You are a
yeah.
musician, you know.
Yeah.
Not got in on a technicality. James, if you could pick any musician, past or present, to be the chairman of your beloved Wolverhampton Wanderers, who would it be?
Kendrick Lamar,
Oh.
an innovator,
Yeah.
a man of fine words.
I can't imagine the Gornal Massive are going to want to pimp any butterflies
I don't know.
or anything else.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Good,
Maybe.
Nah, just
good
a-
kid in a mad city as
Good
well.
kid in Mad City, just something a bit different.
I thought you were going to go plan.
I understand the Guy Garvey.
Is he gonna-
I
where's
understand
Kendrick
the
gonna live?
sensibility. Techno. Maybe Techno would. Yeah, down by the.
Kung Fu Kenny and Techno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, just something a bit different and someone that would. I don't want Guy Garvey. I think he's brilliant, but I don't want.
Well, you
I don't
don't have to.
necessarily want.
No, yeah.
Don't necessarily want
Chalk and cheese, yeah.
sensibility. I'm not looking at football.
What do you
I'm
think
not watching
Kendrick will
football
do? What do you think he's going to do to the Wolves that'll change things?
Americanise it. Comptonise it.
Anti-Drake.
Yeah, fair enough.
And of course he would be well at home. The actual answer to where Kendrick would live is of course the town of Compton within Wolverhampton, which is where the Wolves training ground
That's
is.
ideal then. Yeah,
I got
it
two,
works.
I got two of my 6 tattoos done in Compton.
Did you?
Yeah. Spikes when it moved there. It was on the corner.
Spikes. I like that name. It's a good name for.
What about
provincial
Tattoo
tattooist,
Palace?
isn't it?
Did you ever go there?
And I got another one down
Chapel
there.
Ash?
No, Spike. Oh no, it was Chapel Ash. You're right,
Yeah.
actually. Anyway, I would like. I've thought about this. Barry White.
My first, my last, my everything.
I want the Walrus of Love walking in to Anfield, and within 2 weeks, I want him brawling. I want him brawling with Evangelos Marinakis, the Nottingham Forest chairman.
Oh,
But yeah, I want Barry White taking him out.
that would be.
Taking him out.
Battle of the big men. Be like Earthquake and Typhoon going after each other again.
It would be fantastic. That's a fucking great show.
Moving on. We this week we'd had a particularly well, we've put it in the newsletter, so you might be bored of repurposing content, but the Everton family begging Richarlison to stay. It is one of my favourite videos of all time. There is so much going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
The kids are stood there, the music starts, the 2 kids at the front, they've organised them. It's everything
order.
about it. It's a
Yeah.
fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
So they've got the 2 of them there. The first kid doesn't really say much. He walks past. I'd like to know who's filming or how they've got the camera up. If you haven't seen it, just type in Richarlison, stay, Richie lad, whatever. And then the second kid's a teenager, so he goes, Richie lad, and just walks off because he doesn't want to be at camera. Then the fucking dad comes in.
Fucking loving.
I love Dad, innit?
Dad gives it all this, and he thinks he's won. Then his wife
Yeah.
brutally upstages him by just she goes low,
She does.
does the pigeon all the way through, and
pigeon's
just
brilliant.
goes Richie, and then goes off, and you think this is done. There are no more heroes to reveal themselves. And then Grandad, I presume he's the wife's father. I don't know why. I just do.
Yeah.
I just
I get that
do.
vibe.
And he comes walking in. He is steaming.
Yeah.
He's been drinking since noon.
Yeah.
And he just
Certainly.
fucking comes through. He doesn't even look at the fucking thing. He's doing the dance. Good, Ricky lad! And just goes off. And I reckon I've watched it 150 times,
Yeah.
and it never fails to just make me piss myself laughing.
Same here.
What I am always amazed by whenever it crops up is how it looks like it was filmed 20 years ago.
Yes, yeah, it does.
Yes. Yeah.
Good, Ricky lad.
Yeah, and it
Been
would have
filmed
been
on an old Motorola.
Yes.
And how long it takes to start.
And then
I
been
love that as well.
Bluetoothed around.
And as we know, he left.
Yeah.
Few of the interesting things from history. Now, the final episode of Frasier was in 2004. Now, not that I care for it that much, but I'd often wonder about the theme tune. Do you know what the tossed salad and scrambled eggs is referring to in the theme tune?
No, but it's gonna be naughty, isn't it?
Go on. No, I don't.
Toss salad and scrambled eggs.
They're calling again. It's about the people who ring him up because he's a psychiatrist, so he's calling them tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
Ah.
Tossed salads. Look at them.
That's good.
They're back again.
Bit of oil going in
I
there.
tell you
They're
what.
podding again. Look at them. Oh, baby, I hear Sammy calling tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
Brilliant. That's me.
The pudding again.
Toss. You get that? Is it now? Toss. Who's guilty? Who's who? Guilty.
Is there a salad option in Popeye?
It's just more chicken.
Just chicken.
What else is there? Steve and Gerrard FA Cup final. We don't need to talk about that apart from to say I was on my knees at the Belfry in front of the entire European tour at the time. Lee Westwood and the like and people like that.
Oh no, that's a pretty good story.
Watching me down on my knees in front of the large TV.
Were any of them Liverpool fans? Any of the golfers?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No one down on the...
Darren Clark, Thomas Bjorn, people like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to
That's
get helicopters
amazing.
to games and shit.
That's amazing.
I think they might have got the helicopter to that game after playing in the morning. But yeah, there was a few there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, there was a West Ham fan as well. Obviously, I didn't cover myself in. Glory.
Tiger Woods, was it?
Glory. But I think that's how you'd explain Steven Gerrard to an alien, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh!
What's your...
Good with his irons.
Oh God.
Owen just looks sad.
Should we just stop at the end of season 1?
No.
That's a great
Just
joke.
good stuff.
Irons.
Yeah.
Finally, Tony Hawk, skateboarder extraordinaire and video game impresario and a very injured man.
Yeah.
From all the times he's fallen off his deck over the years. I just want to know everyone's skateboarding stories quickly.
Oh, God.
Oh.
We just used to. Bridge North is in a valley. And we know what valleys look like. So the River Severn is there in the middle and it goes up both sides. So it just keeps on going up until it stops. And then you get the road out to Shrewsbury and Ludlow. And we just used to go to the top of Queensway, which was a really steep hill, and lie down face first and go as fast as we could down it.
That's pretty good. That sounds sounds a lot of fun.
You just trying to land ollies down Purton, weren't you?
Well, actually, no. Skateboarding is in the same bracket of things that I'm terrible at, which is swimming. Not that great at swimming. Do it a lot. But I'm not that great at it.
Kick ups.
Different genre, but ice skating.
Deadlines.
Ice skating, terrible at, and skateboarding.
Research.
When there's
Ice skating.
When there's something, I'm terrible at it. I'm absolutely
Same here, James.
Because it needs a form of streamlined.
I'm really
form
good
of
ice
coordination. Sports
I
with
can imagine.
sports with an element of chaos in. I'm great at. I can think on my feet and do my own thing.
Yeah.
I tried to be good at skateboarding, but it was cooler in year 7 or 8. I'm talking 2001, 2002. To be into skateboarding, not as cool to be into football that time. I just remember going down Montmore Skate Park and thinking, I just wish I was playing football because I'm shit at this.
Did you have a chain hanging out of your jeans? Did
All
you?
that. Yeah. Limp Bizkit hoodie.
Did you?
Baggies, yeah.
If I'd have seen you in town, I'd have probably taken that chain off and whipped you with it.
And I'd have enjoyed it. That's the sad thing.
Just whipped him.
No, you wouldn't.
Whipped in the middle of the street.
He would have been about 22.
Why is that adult?
You wouldn't have
Whipping that young
enjoyed
boy in
being
the
mugged when you were 12 years old in town
By a 22.
by a 22-year-old.
Look at his face.
No one would enjoy that.
Well, to be fair, they'd closed the youth centre, so.
Yeah.
You know.
Nick his fags. Oh, I'll have that hat as well.
My little airwalk hat. Quicksilver bag.
Yeah. It's also on the day this podcast is released, Dan Burns' birthday, and we are all away to get our suits measured.
Yeovil legend.
Yes.
Everyone's played for Yeovil, haven't they?
Scored the winner. To be fair, he did score the winning goal. In
Was he there when you were doing the fanzine?
No, no, he wasn't. No.
I've watched him 3 times live in the flesh when he's had to try to defend against Adama Traore, and it's been very upsetting.
But you say that. Where's Adama Traore now?
Fulham.
Yeah.
Been injured most of the season, but has
Where's Dan Burn?
scored. I mean, he's at fucking Eddie Howe's boring, monotonous boys, isn't he?
Back at his boyhood club, playing in
Yeah,
cup
that's
finals,
nice, yes.
getting his
Champions
suit
League.
measured, scoring goals in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Who's the real winner?
They got knocked out.
Oh, yeah.
But
better be in it than win.
Everyone gets knocked out apart from the winner.
in terms of specific,
What?
Adventures in Clubland. Adventures in Clubland. It is for the first Adventures in Clubland back of this, the new second series of Reminding You I Love Football. Our big mate in a big shirt. He's been back to Yeovil. He's a Yeovil fan again. He's marching on to victory. He's respecting the turf. He's drinking cider. First big typo of Seb. Could you tell us who we're doing, Seb? And I'll just go quickly into the first typo.
Benedict Saul McCarthy.
And Seb's first line in his notes is staring Jose Mourinho.
Listen. Right. This is one of the most fun adventures in Clubland that I think I've done, certainly, and most enjoyable. This is all about the South African player Benedict McCarthy, otherwise known as Bennie, playing for Porto 2002-2006.
Now, of course, a Manchester United striker coach.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doing a great job.
We will come on to. But I've had the pleasure, absolute pleasure, of listening to various podcasts with Bennie McCarthy on to get deep into this, because what a man. Anyway, he ends up at Porto because he's at Celta Vigo, and he has been, it's fair to say, ostracised by the Celta Vigo manager Victor Fernandez, and like really badly. You know,
Isn't he a bit of a known bastard, Fernandez?
Yes.
Hasn't he got form?
Yes.
Benny McCarthy said he must have a lot of friends in a lot of high places when talking about him.
We will come back to him, actually, funnily enough. But he so he ends up at Porto because Jose Mourinho has seen him. Obviously, Jose Mourinho is around Spanish football with Bobby Robson, Louis van Gaal, all around then. He's even been spotted at training, watching Celta Vigo training. It's an open training session. So he has a soft spot for this player called Benny McCarthy. He gets him in on loan, does really well, scores 11 goals in 12 games, I think it is. And unfortunately, Porto just haven't got the money to sign him. So he goes back to Celta Vigo.
Haven't got a Porto to piss in.
They have not.
Nice.
And he has to sort of watch from afar as Porto win the UEFA Cup, which he'd help get into with goals towards the end of the season. There's a new manager at Celta Vigo. He sort of gets given the chance again, but it doesn't quite work out. But in the summer of 2003, Porto have sold Helder Postiga to Tottenham. So they have a bit of cash. And Jose Mourinho wants one man and one man only to fill those boots. And that is Benny McCarthy.
Deadline day as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It went
signing.
right down to the wire. And actually, Benny McCarthy took a drop in wages to make it all happen because he was just so desperate to get out of Celta Vigo. But this is a story of almost a football father and son. The way they speak about it.
I thought you were going to start rapping Fresh Prince then.
No. Here's a story all about how his life got flipped. No,
Actually, forget everything I said about Guy Garvey. I'd have Will Smith.
but there is a real respect, admiration. Jose Mourinho knows exactly what Benny McCarthy is like and needs as a player. Benny McCarthy knows what is required of him. Let's go back to the Mourinho's Porto, right? What a fucking team this is. I know it's easy to say, like, they won the Champions League. Of course, they're a good team. But you go through the whole team. Bayer, Costa, Maniche, Pedro Mendes, Costinha. There's so many amazing,
Well, I like thinking of
brilliant
this team
players.
because really it represents the last time I could really like Mourinho.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it. It reminded me.
He looked
Oh.
incredible. Incredible. If he turned up round yours, John is, I don't know.
Round my parents' house.
Here we go. Fuck's sake.
If you were getting a stepdad, Jose Mourinho would be a good stepdad at that
At
time.
that point.
You'd be like, fair play, Mum. He's turned up in his Lambo.
Yeah.
I love Dad. He's happier now. You're definitely going to be happier now.
That very Mediterranean combo of a tan and a grey suit.
The coat, everything.
The Silver Fox as well.
Soon changed when he became Chelsea manager, obviously.
This is it.
But
And
he was, oh, God.
I mean, I had the same thing. All the stories that Benny McCarthy tells. This is Mourinho when he was touted and called the next Brian Clough. Attacking, adventurous football, great at man management and stuff like this. This is so. There's some. The key headline is they win the Champions League, and Benny McCarthy is a key part of that. What's the one game that everyone remembers from this time? Even if you're not a Porto fan or a Man United fan, it's the Man United game. Now, go back to the first leg of this tie. Firstly,
I've done that in a kids' game, by the way.
but Benny McCarthy. Oh God. Was it around that time, or was it?
For the benefit of the listener, he is, of course, referring to Mourinho.
I'm pretending to
running down the
This-
touchline at Old Trafford.
No, it wasn't around the time. It was a few years later.
but yeah, it's just
yeah,
had a-
yeah. I've done
Well,
Class.
the first
like
leg.
that to the opposition manager as well when I went past.
That's
And
pretty good.
he's
Reminding you why you love football.
That's
Sorry.
Two fingers
but
up there.
But this is the first leg of this game. Benny McCarthy scores two brilliant striker goals. One half volley that just nestles in the corner from a brilliant cross from Elena-Chev. But the header to make it 2-1, the crucial goal, which ends up being the crucial goal, is just he gets in between Wes Brown and Gary Neville, right? And they are two extremely good defenders. You know, I know people can joke about Gary Neville can play for England, blah, blah, blah. But at this time, Gary Neville was one of the best right backs. You know, Wes Brown is a fucking good centre back.
Yeah.
He leaps in between them, and this looping header
I'm not necessarily sure about that.
that goes into the corner is just is incredible. And Alex Ferguson said it's one of the best headers he's ever seen.
Can I just tell you something? That me and my mates, whenever Wes Brown used to come on the telly, we knew him as Wes Clown, and we'd make the like a clown's noise and say he was there. There's Wes Brown squirting his flower into the striker's face to stop him scoring.
Oh, for goodness sake. And
Orange everywhere. Come and have a go if you dare.
Statman Dave used to sing that at university all the time.
so they go. So that takes them into the second leg, obviously, and where the incredible happens. Now, one thing to remember from this moment, the celebration that everyone remembers all comes about from a free kick in the 3rd minute of injury time. Deco is the usual free kick taker for Porto. He's missed 3 or 4 chances from free kicks, and Bennie McCarthy stood around hoping he might get it. And Jose Mourinho is going absolutely mad on the sidelines, going, Bennie, Bennie, Bennie. He then has to tell Jorge Costa, you know, the big mid-30s, to sprint, to go and tell Bennie McCarthy to take this free kick.
Like watching you run for a bus.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. 100%. 100%. And he gets to him and he says to him, and Deco's really upset, going, oh, no. But Bennie McCarthy sees this as his chance. Now, he's a boyhood man.
That's a submarine being dry docked.
So Bennie McCarthy sees this as his chance. And the free kick, you know what happens with it? It's a brilliant free kick, but and Tim Howard's flailing all over the place. Can only palm it out to Costinha.
Tim Howard's flailing.
And he falls into the net, doesn't he? And then Costinha, who's running in, slots it in. Mourinho does a celebration. Then,
Tim the Dot.
Everyone remembers that, but then they still have to go and beat Leon, who were fucking brilliant at the time.
At the time, Leon were Leon, like
Monaco.
Moneybags Leon.
Monaco had knocked out Real Madrid, and they spattered them in the final.
Yeah.
Oh, Morientes. It was when he was on loan, wasn't it?
Exactly.
And scored against them.
Exactly. And the best interview I listened to, and I know I go back to him again, but the Graham Hunter Big Interview podcast.
He is good.
It's masterful.
It's a great interview.
He's not just he's a brilliant interviewer, but he also gets such great stuff.
And I think it's probably worth saying to anyone listening to this, and is that we've come to know Graham well enough individually and collectively as part of Mundial, and he's just a really fucking sound bloke.
One of the absolute best.
Really, really sound bloke and generous with his time whenever we do stuff. We always try and pay him, and he always says no.
Yeah.
The voice notes that he leaves me in response to just like a 1-line text are just, they're wonderful.
But
wonderful.
Great voice as well.
Fuck off, James, and stop asking me about the weather forums.
But
I'm not storm chasing with you, Jamie.
I think he would actually.
Yeah.
he described. I think he would.
I think he would.
You'd have to have a cerveza at the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Graham, do you want to chase a Columbus cloud across Basque Country?
Yeah. Oh, he'd love it. But he talks about this whole season, and it's a magical season. It's Mourinho when he's fucking great, and people love him.
Living in Porto,
It's
great
an
city.
Underdog winning the underdog, so to speak. But no one expected them to win the Champions League.
No, they were an underdog.
Yeah.
I know they'd won it before.
Massively.
They won the
in
UEFA Cup
87.
season before, but still, it's still a massive thing to. And Bennie McCarthy speaks about football in the most. You're talking about. We're on a podcast with reminding you why you love football. I've rarely heard a footballer be so eloquent and so happy talking about such minute details of football, and it's just he loved being a footballer and loved being part of this team. And he's a Champions League winner. He didn't even start the final, but he wasn't that arsed. He wanted to get on at some point, but he knew that it was all part of the team. They changed the system ever so slightly. Carlos Alberto started instead of him. And he eventually gets on, but just the joy that he has.
And of course, won the Bola de Prata that season.
Won the Portuguese...
20 goals in 23 games.
Of course, won the Ballo de Prata.
Yeah.
You've just read that.
Yeah.
Of course, really. Bloody.
He done the
I wrote the brief. I wrote the brief for this. I just had to remember the name.
Of course. Needless to say, he won.
Well, I'm not needless to say, the last.
I'm assuming we all know.
But
It goes without saying.
all the players knew him as the son of
I
Mourinho.
spent 3 hours with Bennie McCarthy
no.
yesterday.
Oh,
He
no.
did. All the players knew Bennie McCarthy as Mourinho's son.
Oh no.
He's done. He's gone.
Oh.
I'll get me coat.
And I think the big sadness, McCarthy went to Blackburn He gets, obviously, this puts him in. He says once he scored those goals against Man United, he's linked with Premier League clubs forever, ever from that point onwards. He eventually goes to Blackburn, second top scorer in the Premier League.
Which Blackburn is this?
Mark Hughes,
yeah.
you know,
It was,
decent, and he speaks greatly about Mark Hughes. Thinks he's a
Mourinho tried to sign him
Yeah.
at Chelsea as well.
This
Who,
is the
Mark
thing.
Hughes?
Mourinho tried to sign
McCarthy.
to take to Chelsea, and there's a real sadness in that he would have worked under not just Mourinho again, and who was someone who he obviously loved, but he would have been in up front with the fucking Gronkiars, the Robins, the Joe,
The Gronkiar.
the Gronkiars, you know.
Of all the players who played in that
No, the
incarnation
winger,
of the
you know.
Chelsea team, he's gone for Jesper
the
Gronkiar.
suppliers.
Tell me your name's Seb White without telling me you're Seb White.
But the players, he would have just
Damien
been,
Duff.
He would have been
Duffer,
superb.
Joe Cole, yeah.
Joe Cole,
And actually, his career does and he says he lost his head a little bit because he so wanted that move to happen, but
It was in your garage, was it?
yeah, tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
It's me and Benny.
But honestly, go and listen to the big interview of him.
Yeah.
And now, even listening to him now, he has to become a manager at some point. He's done all his badges. He's a coach at Man United.
He has been a manager, hasn't he?
Sorry, he's been a manager in South Africa, but he wants to be a manager in Europe, and obviously,
Yeah.
he has to be. It would be amazing. I'd love to see him. I've honestly developed a real fucking
Can you
interest
imagine?
and affection for him.
With pretty much all footballers, you can see you can have a good guess at what they played like when they were a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beckham, very spindly, not too quick, but just pinging in corners and dead balls. You've seen the archive footage.
We've seen it.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
It's very easy to
but
say.
it matches what you think.
Like Conor Gallagher, I imagine just ran around a lot. He
Yeah.
did good stuff because he was better, but really just ran around a lot.
Yeah.
But with Bennie McCarthy, I bet you it was great to watch when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before tactics became too much of a thing and more off the ball work and blah, 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 blah. He had a great, but an amazing individuality about him. Not being overcoached. And there's nothing. Sometimes overcoaching is a good thing, but in that sense, I loved McCarthy because there was a liquidity to him, like the way he moved. But oh god, what a finisher! What an exceptional finisher! Great movement. Knew when to stand still. Knew when to wasn't always running around. Knew when to stand still.
This is what he said. He said, if he'd gone to Chelsea, I'd have been a different player because I would have just stood still. Because your Gronkies, your Robins, they would have just given me the ball and I would have just scored. Because even then he's thinking, like, what outside, not just I'm going to go there and score goals. How am I going to score goals?
His first team in Europe, who were Ajax,
Yeah.
of course. And he came to Ajax in the sort of like dying embers of the 95 team that won the Champions League. So like your Kluiverts, your Seedorf, your Overmars,
Your Davids.
they've all gone. Your David, they've all left. He scores sort of 10 goals as a 19-year-old, his first team in Europe, and he looks so fucking good in an Ajax shirt.
He played in what was known as the gangster leagues in Cape Town.
Yeah.
So he was playing properly for a club in Cape Town, but at weekends there was this gangster league where the local gangsters, drug dealers, whatever, would have their own teams, and people would flood to these games, and he got paid 5 times more money, cash in
Played
hand.
in the Gangster League.
Yeah.
I'd love to make a documentary about that.
Honestly, it sounds amazing. It sounds like, it sounded incredible.
And of course, he moved to Edinburgh in 2013 because his wife always wanted to move there.
Seb, there was.
We all knew that, though, right?
Yeah.
The reason I knew about his managerial period at Cape Town was because I saw a video and it was why I was laughing when you said about how eloquent and sort of calm he spoke about, and brilliant he spoke about football. Because the manager from the opposite team, he might call him a cunt.
Yeah.
I think he calls Bennie McCarthy a cunt, and McCarthy just goes, "Who the fuck are you calling a cunt? Look at you. You've only won this and this. Look at what I've won. You're the cunt."
Don't get me.
Fantastic.
He's a good swearer. Him and Graham Hunter, when he's a good
Yeah,
swearer.
he is, isn't he?
When it can turn,
Yeah.
I reckon But then he'd be fighting your corner.
And so he's still the striker coach at United.
There was a piece just last week, or there was a piece recently that said that was probably not going to carry on.
Right, okay.
But Rashford did last season when he had his good season, 31 goals. He put a lot of it down.
Yeah,
to Benny
yeah.
Said McCarthy
read
had
about
really,
that.
really helped
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
So he was a big fan. Benny McCarthy was, there were small swarms of fans singing his name in the Stratford end just because of
Really?
Rashford's form. Yeah,
But it's a real
10,
old
10,
school-
20, 30
That's
people.
fucking lovely.
It's a
Yeah.
real
That's really
old
good, yeah.
school champion football manager thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
When players start retiring and you've got like Ronaldo as your
Yeah.
forwards,
Yeah,
Ronaldinho as your
Yeah,
forwards
yeah, that's
coach
it.
and stuff like that.
Yep.
Everyone around my age is like, fucking hell.
Benny
McCarthy,
McCarthy.
that's sick.
Yeah.
There
Bet
he
he
is.
was- I bet he was still knocking them in training
just-
as well.
yeah.
It's just a shame you've got Jesper Gronkier teaching Anthony.
Did you see that thing with Anthony and his Sonic the Hedgehog?
No?
He's had his own photographer
Yes.
going around all season, carrying this Sonic the Hedgehog so he can celebrate when he scores, and it's taken 7 months. And he's gone and pulled it out of the crowd, not a photo
That's
taker.
hilarious. I didn't know that.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
I reckon I've completed Sonic the Hedgehog, the OG one, about 150 times because my littlest brother Fergal, who's 18 years younger than me, when I used to go down to my dad's, he'd want to watch me do it, and
On Sega.
and then I was
Dreamcast.
living there, and he'd make me do it. Yeah. On
Mega
The
Drive.
Mega
Sega.
Drive, yeah.
the noise.
Once
Can you
again.
imagine Owen, pretty hungover, and and others. every Sunday, me and Dr. Robotnik.
Fucking hell.
I love him.
It
what I
has to
call
be said,
Sid.
what a game. What a genuine...
What a game he was!
No, but what a game that was. Genuinely, like...
It was. Yeah.
The first Sonic.
On the Mega
Exceptional.
Drive.
That,
Incredible.
that and Mario.
Incredible.
What's everyone's thoughts on Knuckles? I think he was pretty cool.
He hasn't,
Yeah, quite cool.
listener, he hasn't written this one down.
Annoying.
It's just come.
Did you know?
Of course, famous for winning the Ballon d'Or Hedgehog in
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah.
A Man United fan, signified by the colour red. Knuckles.
Needless
born.
to say, the greatest coin gatherer of 1999.
Knuckles.
Well, he was Scrappy Doo, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like Birdo is to you. You're very Scooby.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's the type of noise you make on a daily basis.
Walking down the steps on the bus.
Yeah.
You know, what's that fella doing?
Scooby.
Scooby.
It sounded like Scooby Doo, but it looks. I know. It doesn't look like him. Birdo running behind you, arguing with people in your wake.
Yeah, I can see all this.
All right, I'm Charlie Cooper. You might recognise me from BBC Show This Country, but I'm here to tell you how much I love Mundial magazine. For me, it's the fanzine of football, documenting the best of football culture forever. I'm very proud to admit I've been a long-term subscriber of Mundial for years now. But if you subscribe, you don't just get the magazine, right? You get loads of other perks, too many to mention, in fact. So join Club Mundial at mundialmag.com.
Ins and outs, outs and ins. As part of some of the other feedback we got was really you'd listen to episodes of us just doing ins and outs. So based on something we did for the 50th episode, which wasn't the last, we are doing two lots of ins and outs, football and non-football. So I'm going to go straight in at the football ins and outs, and I'm going to start with mine. Is earlier in the week we're recording.
I don't know what it is.
Earlier in the week we were recording. Alan Pardew was paid, I don't know by who,
Oh no.
to release a statement. Well, not to release a statement, but someone's paid him. It's TalkSport or a betting company.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Pards said that Man United need a new manager. They should get Mark Robbins in. Former player, knows the club. Now, Mark Robbins hasn't been at Manchester United for over 30 years. And you know what? Maybe he's a really good manager,
Yeah.
but it's just such a fucking stupid... It's like,
Yeah. It
Pards, come on, you've got to say something mental.
Yeah.
We'll give you $2,000 if you say something
Oh yeah, it's
mental.
exactly that.
Yeah.
It's exactly that.
Pards has fucking walked in here. Do you know what I mean?
I'll have it in cash, please.
Yeah. So, two things here. Forget Mark Robbins being Manchester United manager. Imagine if by some twist of fate, Pards had a load of info on Jim Radcliffe
No.
and he ends up as Man United manager. Imagine now, Ten Hag out, Pards in. But I'll tell you what though, he'd clear out the dead wood.
He would, yeah. Who would he keep?
Do you think he would, or not think he'd try and be their mate, all of their mates, and like?
Yeah.
maybe
He
would
might get a
actually.
bit starstruck.
He's just such a smarmy man.
Can you imagine
He
him
is,
nicking
yeah.
Rashford's dinner? Just for banter. Yeah, he tries to get his kids fed. I nicked his sausage and chips. Fucking hell.
That
No
would
one
be it.
fucking...
That would be him.
No one fucking messes with the king. But he did do that. That's an actual story, isn't it, when he was a manager?
Yep.
Took a player's dinner
God,
and
yeah,
said,
he
"Watch this."
did,
Took his
didn't
dinner and sat in his place and ate it.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah.
hell.
He,
Do you remember when he did that dance as well against us in the FA Cup final?
Yeovil legend. Had a couple of seasons at Yeovil. We sold him to Palace, yeah.
Fucking hell.
I don't know what's in here,
No,
but it's mine, so they're always in. Seb, oh fucking surprise! Come on then,
Surprise, surprise!
come on, Seb.
A surprise couple of pints watching grassroots football on a Sunday afternoon.
Surprise to who?
Well, I went to go and watch.
No. Surprise to who?
Quelle surprise.
Because every time you go to football, you drink.
I wasn't planning to on this
Surprise.
particular occasion. It was just across the road. Ava's coach at football her team was playing. They could win the
Do
league.
you remember when you used to do stuff like this, Tommy?
And the bar
I
was
wasn't meaning to drink today, but
every fucking
the bar was open.
here we are again.
It was a surprise. There was a pub a mile and a half down the road, and I just had to walk past it. And I went in, and then I had 3 pints, and it was such a surprise.
Seb went to watch some grassroots women's football on his own on a Sunday afternoon and got slotted. Out! Tommy,
You're taking away the fun from it.
playing walking football with my dad.
Ooh.
We won 3-0. We bickered at each other a couple of
I've
times.
seen the videos. It looks slow.
It is. It's but
Oh,
it's,
they're walking. Yeah.
That's the
I
hardest
know, but
thing.
even then, is he in struggling with his knees?
Big time. Yeah,
I thought
big
so.
time.
Yeah. It looked like he was. No offence, Ian. I struggle with my knees, but he looked.
There
like
was
he
one moment though. There was one. I loved it.
Sorry, really fucking wholesome. Really.
No, I
wholesome.
know.
3-0 playing with my dad.
No
watching
offence.
football. It looks slow as your dad got something wrong with his knees.
The first thing I told him when I got off that pitch is the message you sent. When I said I was just filming live, I was like, "He's got the ball," and what did you say back? You're like, "Oh, he's
fucked up.
yeah." And I told him that, and my dad just went, "Bastard." I was like, "Owen's slagging off your game here, Dad."
But it was a terrible pass.
It was a terrible pass. But
He's-
anyway,
he's under it.
he had one flash where he had a bit, because we used to call him Dimitar Dadatov, because when they were younger, him and Berbatov looked quite similar, around 30.
Yeah.
The bald head and all that,
Yes.
and the dark hair. But he did a little sort of flick, the little flick round the corner. He had one moment, I was like, you're enjoying this still. But
No, that's good. It is lovely. James, in, by the way, very much in.
thank you.
Lovely. Listening to like British broadcasts of sport whilst you're abroad.
I don't think you've done this once. I think you've done this 100 times on this podcast, in the magazine, in the fucking pub.
No. But when,
Birdo's on about the radio again.
okay. But let me explain. So I was on my own for work in the south of Italy. I was feeling a little bit lonely actually, and I just dropped the photographer off at the airport. But I was driving back, sun was setting, and I realised that on the digital radio in the car, scrolling through all the Italian radio stations, was BBC World Service. And when I put it on, it was their weekly Sports World show.
Nice.
And it was just after Leverkusen had won the Bundesliga, and it was an hour-long broadcast and it just rooted me in home.
Yeah.
Despite being away and despite being on my own, it rooted me.
Love it.
Yeah. Ian, I suppose. I put it in every other time. I put it in the mag. I've subbed it. Yeah, I like the radio too. Good.
Yeah.
Out. I was going to talk about FA Cup replays, but it's been a while. But it's just fucking shit.
No, I'm glad you did. Oh,
Let's just
Yeah,
say
no, we
it's
need-
shit.
It's-
It's just just take it away after the third round,
Yeah.
or come up with some rule where the smaller clubs don't get fucked. Just do something where it's not more. They've taken all FA Cup replays.
Yeah.
I think
So what you're saying is FA Cup replays being out is out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
I understand
No, I
why. By
agree.
the time you get to the quarters and stuff like that, it shouldn't be in, and it
That's
wasn't.
fine.
Fine,
Yeah.
That's
get
fine.
it. Fixture congestion, but really,
We've spoken about what it's done for our non-league clubs before, these fixtures. Massive.
The first to third round is...
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's choking another institution like the NHS, and it's just you slowly cut away around it until people don't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
Because what they really want to do is get rid of it
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
and bring a new cup in where the small teams aren't in it, and they would just have a Premier League cup. That's where the game is going.
Yeah.
It made me as
Private healthcare, Premier League
Of
cup.
course. It's really, really fucking sad.
Yeah.
One of my favourite moments in my whole life was a first round replay away at Hereford. And you're
like-
taking away potential of someone enjoying the emotion and stuff. First to third round, I get it. After third round,
I could
I
cope.
can live with that.
Yeah.
But
If
the third-
people have been talked to as well, this is the worst thing about it all.
Yeah.
No one's been spoken to about it.
No.
So all of that's out. Modern life. You're mental. James Bird, what's your out?
people moaning about number of games. I want as many games as possible.
You could be watching the J League now if you wanted. It's on YouTube on a Friday morning. It doesn't just need to be more Premier League.
Sometimes
games.
I just mean more games.
Yeah.
What I mean is people moaning about having to play football matches when that is their job. It's your job to play football matches. Stop moaning
Roy
about
Keane
it.
over here.
Is he getting you to do him a sizzle reel for TalkSport or something?
Mark Robbins, Man United manager.
Stop moaning about still being in a cup competition. You're still in a cup competition.
That's correct.
Enjoy it. Understand that your fans are going to enjoy watching you in that. And then, yeah, you might have a game 3.5 days later that kicks off at 12 instead of at 3. Enjoy it. You're playing football.
Pep's got 2 starting 11s.
All of it. It's too much.
Okay.
What are you doing about that? In all right?
Just going to move on and let you calm down a little bit. Seb.
Every time I walk downstairs in the house now, there's at least 3 different footballs that are just floating around, and my daughter is constantly trying to nutmeg me. And I say trying to, succeeding on many different occasions.
Does she say nuts or megs?
Good
Megs?
question. Okay.
Really?
She says Megs. Yeah.
Yeah, an aristocrat,
Yeah.
I see.
That's great.
Rare, medium rare.
Yeah. She does live in Richmond.
No, but that must have come from... What did you say growing up in Yeovil?
I think I.
Knock down Ginger! Pegs!
good.
Call it pigs. 'cause you couldn't
But
stop a
I'm
pig.
trying to
Through the hatch.
On the rare occasion, I'm in the kitchen, which I admit is not as often as it should be, and I'm trying to do some cooking. I'm just like trying to avoid just getting megged all the time.
That's not out at all.
Constant.
That's it.
That's
Keep
it.
them close, brother.
Quite a big target as well if you split your
Yeah,
legs,
exactly.
isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I've got no chance. And my lack
It's like
of
passing
coordination.
the ball through the Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah, very true. Fair.
That's not out. In. Tommy.
The bureaucracy of the referees at walking football. Now, you were saying the game looks very slow, and there seems to be... I've played walking football a couple of times down the years with my dad, and there seems to be different rules for different blokes. Some, if they have like a certain injury, it's like they seem to be running, but they're not. And then there's this rule about you can't tackle from anywhere unless you can't tackle from behind.
This is why I can't become a walking footballer.
Oh mate, you wouldn't.
I'll never play now.
I was giving away fouls like I don't understand. I'm just putting my foot in lightly. I'm not even. I got squashed by a bloke.
I'll be off.
Yeah.
Dissent. It may come as no surprise to you that I've had a lot of red cards for mouth.
Yeah.
And, if some fucking
I went once.
jumped up gobshite who can't even play walking football, can't even referee normal football, he has to be a walking referee.
Yeah.
Starts fucking booking me for breaking into a trot.
Sorry, lads, if you're listening, because they all said they want to listen to the podcast, but
if I was playing walking football, right, let's say I'm 50, 55, whatever, and there's some fucking 70-year-old bloke, and they've bypassed the press, and he's through on goal, and the cunt's just fucking slowly walking towards the goal. I'd just have, sorry, Grandad.
Yeah. That's it.
Sorry, Grandad. Last man.
That's it.
That's the hardest.
You can't do anything.
That's what I'm saying. I would not be able to resist.
Definitely out. Definitely
Yeah.
out. James, something you've just said there.
Sorry, Grandad.
As you talked about whack.
Yeah.
There's a video doing the rounds on the internet
Not
at the
me,
moment
is
of an 8-year-old kid taking out this woman who's drinking wine with a slide tackle. She's got a Sauvignon in hand, like some big white flowery trousers.
I have seen that.
White vest, and she's sort of playing with one kid. And she's got actually decent feet, to be honest. And she turns around, and whoever the big brother is comes in. He's carrying something. He's just seen it and gone, runs across, fucking melt, woof, takes her down, and do you know what? She fucking doesn't spill a drop.
Oh, does she not?
Good on her.
Laughs, come back off and walks off, covered in shit.
My kind of girl.
Yeah. Class.
Moving on to the non-football incident.
Sorry.
Dial F for football. Because
Brilliant.
it's not really about football. So Dial F for football, I've recently, just last night, listened to the 6th episode. Is a new scripted podcast. And I would say it's my favourite new podcast for a long time because it's a real breath of fresh air. And it's the executive producer and creator is our very good friend Ty Popola, who we worked on Giant with. But he was talking about this to me and Seb when we first met him, and we were travelling around the US, and it's taken 5-6 years to come to fruition. He's done a lot of brilliant work in the meantime, but fucking hell, he's burnt some bridges because Tayo's worked at TalkSport and other commercial radio stations. And he is basically, and the people who've written it as well, I must say, there's some very good talent working on it. Fucking hell, he used it to settle some scores. So it's called Total Sport, and some of the like stitched in adverts are brilliant. It's like Total Sport, chat shit, get banged, and stuff like that. But I listened to the episode last night, and the episode was called Sports Washing, and the first bit is a Newcastle fan on, and they're going, and the host goes, "But your but your owners are an oil slave state," and he goes, "Aye, but they're passionate people, like," and then they're going. Right then, we're going to read a list of people who you would or wouldn't have owning your football club. Like, ISIS. And then the bloke pauses and goes, well, if they get us playing free-flowing football, I guess. And there's more. There was more things like that, and I just, it's brilliant to see in a world of ever decreasing races to the bottom with content. To see something like that get made, it's a genuine highlight.
Exactly.
And I started looking forward to it again. Whereas I would say a lot of the rest of my podcast rotation now is things I listen to fall asleep. That's in.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah,
absolutely great. Well done, Tyre.
James Bird ins.
I don't know what it is.
Well, you only put it in about 20 minutes ago. You kind of forgot it yet.
Swapping Instagram for Duolingo.
Okay. Chrissy Waddle.
I've decided that I'm taking the hit. I've sort of
taking the hit. I'm learning another language.
Well, no, not just that.
Hit.
I'm replacing mindless scrolling with learning something.
Yeah,
because
nice.
I haven't learned anything for a long, long time. I haven't learned a new skill, or I haven't learned a new, a new task. I haven't learned.
There's no way this is going in.
Why?
Because there's about 7 new skills I've been on here for 8 years to learn. It'd make all our lives easier when you fucking start with them.
You know what?
You're a senior member of staff.
You know what I mean?
I bloody well.
A language, a trade, something like that.
A trade? Well, what sort of trade? Yeah, well, what sort of... Oh,
I'd fucking
good.
Plumber.
I'd fucking love to go on a plumbing course so that I'd never have to call out a plumber again. So I could do it.
Would you?
I would love to know how to do it. I would love to do an electrician course.
You can't remember to send an email. How are you going to fucking be a plumber?
But this is my fucking point.
You want to learn how to do...
Learning things is a good...
trade. What
I
trade
agree.
would you
I'm
learn?
just taking the piss. I agree.
Yeah.
If it makes you happy, in. Tommy.
Luke Littler, there's a video of him recently playing football, but I also watch the darts every week.
Forget the darts for a minute.
Well, yeah. Should we do it?
Baller.
Yeah, let's talk about the football.
Straight up
I
baller.
could not
What's a left foot?
believe it I was seeing. But it's not just his left foot is good. It's the way he hits it.
Yeah.
And the position, the body position. He's played like he's taken a lot of free kicks.
Yeah.
Lowish, yeah.
I would love nothing more to see Michael Van Gerwen's big fucking round grid absolutely gutted when he gets beaten to the Premier League by Luke Littler. I cannot wait for that.
Which I think he will.
Because Van Gerwen's turn to the camera and roar is the most annoying thing in sport.
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
It's
Scary. It's
annoying.
unsettling. Yeah. I love the way he carries himself, Luke Littler. That's what it is. What
Carries himself.
Do you remember-
Yeah, when he gets, he's so cocky and he looks at the camera and shit. It's different.
I reckon you'd be a good professional darts player.
Sam?
Because there's a lot of gamesmanship, isn't there? 2 reasons you'd be good. 1, you just lean over and place it. And 2, they reckon Phil Taylor won 4 or 5 of his world titles just by the extreme flatulence he displayed on finals night. Just put his opponent off. He was known for it, Phil Taylor.
I didn't know this.
Leaving one in, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
And you with your IBS with the nerves of being in front of a big crowd.
And the 4 pints beforehand, yeah.
They wouldn't be able to go up after you.
No, they wouldn't.
Outs. I'm going to talk very quickly about commuter trains with no tables. I pay a lot of money to get the train, and sometimes, all the time, I get a train probably post 6:30, if not post 7, to get home. It's an hour journey. I sometimes like to watch something or do some more work or whatever, and quite often, and it happens in the mornings as well. There's 12 coaches and there's no seats. Not even a first class you can sit in and say, "Come on, mate."
Yeah.
And get up. So you just can't do anything. And you pay the same price.
Yeah.
And they're fucking cold and horrible.
Yeah.
And if I paid a tenner, I'd accept it. So hopefully I would nationalisation of the railways. Do you know what? Let's see. If the trains are a little bit more basic, fine. I don't care. Because I won't be paying £1 million a day.
Yeah,
but when I'm paying £1 million a day, I expect to be able to have a shit in the morning if I want one and do some work. The same on the way home.
No, he's spot on. I feel you.
They don't need any toilets, just a bucket under the seat.
Just a table.
I've been caught 3 times pissing into cups on trains.
Have you?
Yeah.
Cool.
When you're with the drink, or?
Funnily enough, every time
Who saw?
the conductor. Well, loads of people saw, but I got caught by the conductor.
Loads of people.
What did the conductor say when he saw?
He came over and said,
Stop pissing in a cup.
I was pissing in a Burger King cup, a big one. And he's come, he said, what are you doing? I said, sorry, every toilet is broken.
Yeah.
And it's, I was living close to Tunbridge then, which was a 50-minute journey, say. And that's too long
Yeah.
if you've had 6 pints
Yeah.
to go without a piss.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to do? Piss myself?
Yeah.
Piss straight into the bin, which I've done before, or piss into this cup, calmly put the top back on, and then when I get to the station, place it in a bin. So that's out. James Bird.
Out with my big varicose vein.
No way to talk about Seb. He sat right next to me.
I've had a varicose vein in my left leg since I was 17 years old. It's a genetic thing from my father, and it's been causing me a lot of grief as of recently. And I went to the doctor yesterday.
The only big unsightly thing you got off your daddy's hip?
He means my nose.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
But I went to the doctor yesterday, and it looks like finally it's going to be not considered a cosmetic issue, and it is going to be considered a health issue. So I'm going to be able to go and get it removed.
Nice.
So
I think I got gaslit by my doctor yesterday, by the way, talking about all that. I was like, I said, my spots, you've given me all these creams, you've given me all these different medications, all these pills. And I was like, they've just stayed. They're not really getting any better or worse.
Yeah.
He's like, and he's like, no, they are getting better. And I was like, but you've never seen me in the flesh. This is the first. I've only spoke to you over the phone. He goes, yeah, but look, they don't look that bad today. I was like, yeah, but that's just today.
And what's your out here, Tom?
Oh, here we go. Food poison on holiday. It's happened to me 2 or 3 times now.
Because I can tell you, just stop eating pizza all the time, and you'll have less
I
spots.
do not eat. Come on now. I'm a good eater. I've lost weight. I'm looking the best I've looked in a couple of years.
You've had food poisoning. You've had food poisoning 3 times since I last saw you. No wonder you've lost weight. Shitting through the eye of a needle.
Tommy, are these food poisoning occasions all from when you go to Spain with your dad?
It's happened in Paris. It's happened in Spain. And it's happened in Stockholm. And it just seems
Just not a good traveller, are you?
I think it's that.
that's it.
Maybe it's the
I think
Valium
that's
as well. The Valium and
And planes, the
Valium for the flight. Could be that.
I think it is.
Food poisoning is out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Seb.
A ticketing fuck up by an avid listener of this podcast, meaning now I've not actually got a ticket for Fontaine's DC.
Are you calling out a listener?
Who's hurt you?
Alexander Daniel.
Are you calling out Alex Daniel on the podcast?
You trusted Alex Daniel to get you tickets for something.
He's normally quite good, to be fair.
He's a ticket.
He's normally
dog.
quite good, to be fair.
He's a ticket dog.
So yeah.
Is this the lad I met on the train?
Yeah, if anyone's got a spare ticket for Fontaine's DC at Ali Pally on Friday night in November, please.
Not so good at music tickets, but if you want an overnight sleeper train to Edinburgh, he's your man.
Exactly. Yeah,
This has been reminding you why you love football.
He'll love that.
Episode 1, season 2. We are back. We've got a new issue out, an old issue. We've got issues out all the time. Go to Mundial and subscribe. I've been Owen Blackhurst. We've been at Spiritland. He's been James Bird. He's been Taste Bud White, and he has been Tommy Stewart. And thank you.
Thank you.
Good to be back.
Good to be back.
Nice one, Ab.
Reminding You Why You Love Football is a Mundial and Football co-production. Produced by Tommy Stewart and Seb White, hosted by me, Owen Blackhurst, and recorded on the run.